Happy Thanksgiving Reddit. So as you avoid your family by hiding in the backyard, what sparked the family fight this time? No fights because my family now has 5 separate Thanksgivings. Thanks mum. Thanksgiving at my grandma's house was supposed to start at 5. I was planning on going to my friend's Thanksgiving, starting at 3, for a bit, but it would have conflicted times, so I decided to not go to his at all and go to my grandma's house. I told my aunt, who was planning the whole Thanksgiving, yesterday that I would be there at 5, and the last thing she said was sounds great, see you tomorrow. Well, I texted my brother at 4:30 asking to make sure it was still starting at 5 and that he was going, and he said that they were already done and would be leaving soon. They started 2.5 hours early and no one told me. Everyone they had my phone number and no one thought to text me. Whoa, frick them too, then. My aunt brought her new boyfriend, his 4 children, his parents, and 2 of his cousins without saying anything about it, so now there's not enough food. That is pretty fricked up. My dad cremated the turkey. We hadn't even started making the sides and he came into the kitchen, from the grill outside, with a blackened bird. Haven't gone and won't this year, but last year it was cause my aunt blamed my other aunt for my uncle, their brother, dying, alone, in the hospital whilst she was across the street at the children's hospital with my cousin who was sick at the time. She was literally running like back and forth across the street almost every hour to check on both of them. Apparently she's no longer invited to any more family events. I feel so bad for her. Real father ran into my stepdad. Bloody mess. Having Thanksgiving with my uncle, his partner, and their friends. Nice people, don't get me wrong, but he invited one of my cousins, who estranged herself from her family and got with this guy. Now that they're broken up, she's trying to wean herself back in like she hadn't told us all to frick off, because he knew she was lonely. Big mistake. She's currently parading around the house criticizing and nitpicking all their decor in each room, saying how she would do it. One of my uncle's friends told her to stfu and now everyone's silent. The turkey hasn't even come out of the oven yet, so pray for me please Mayo. My family spends Thanksgiving with a few families from church. The big fight was about the Cybertruck. We have a lot of engineers. Honestly, a multi-family fight about the Cybertruck sounds like a refreshing change of pace from the usual Thanksgiving drama. My sister brought her fiancé, who happens to be a different skin tone than the rest of us. My aunt and mom were completely rude, and my sister then brought up that they're both divorced. Cool dude. I like him. We're drinking straight from the 1/2 bottle of Crown he had in his trunk. Car booze. A holiday season must. Good luck. So my mom misunderstood how long I was staying, just for the day, not the whole weekend, and passive aggressively told me after we ate to leave. I freaking swear, every time I have time off work she expects to monopolize all of it. Anytime I don't give her that, this happens. Plus I only live about an hour away. My sister told my incredibly conservative grandparents I smoked weed. That was a fun conversation. What a snitch. I don't know. The cousin who normally hosts decided that I am the devil and am no longer part of the family, but she won't say why. It started at a family funeral last month. Kids are out of state, so it's just my husband and I eating a takeaway turkey dinner. I live pretty far away from my parents, so my wife and I had her grandma over for dinner. It was nice, but not the same. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving despite the not so great things. The usual. Waking up knowing a fight will break out at some point. My mother pointing blame before it even hits 9 AM and saying we're all ungrateful because she's making the whole dinner and didn't even let us help. I tried. I go to my room to avoid it all and that apparently makes me even more ungrateful. Father gets peed and takes her side and everything turns into gaslighting. Soon everyone is in tears and no one will eat at the table and we're all in separate rooms and not talking for the rest of the day. Happy Thanksgiving. Rinse and repeat on every holiday, vacation, etc. For Christmas, get yourself some pom-poms and a few noisemakers. Just stand there, waving them around and going good job mom. Much turkey, so mashed. Row. On one hand, you'll be grounded forever. On the other, you'll at least have fun earning her ire. My dad told me 3 weeks ago that I have been using him since I was a child for things that he provided me as a parent. Things like money for college, expenses when I was in high school for activities. I haven't talked to him since then and my annual Thanksgiving phone call isn't happening. Yeah, frick that. Had an ex whose parents were like that and I couldn't believe how they would throw that in her face every chance they could. My mom wanted me to throw a birthday party for my autistic son who is overwhelmed by all aspects of parties, so another member of the family who I haven't spoken to in nearly a year wouldn't feel left out. FTR. I am doing an all-day drop-in the day of his birthday, so if anyone wants to come by and wish him a happy birthday they can at any time, including those who would feel left out. Out of a family of 20 plus, only 6 of us showed up to my aunt's for Thanksgiving. My aunt's a sweetheart. She has love for everyone, even the ones that have fricked her over before. Even her own children aren't here. They went to their stepmoms. I don't get how they could choose their stepmom over their mom, especially when their stepmom emotionally manipulates them. Especially when their stepmom emotionally manipulates them. I think that may be your answer. Glad you're with your aunt. Hope it's a nice and intimate get together. My dad's words. Does anybody realize the black kid in Charlie Brown gets a crappy chair? My sister, who is a lesbian, decided to test the water of the family's reaction by outing me as gay. Instead of freaking out, considering they are super religious, they got mad at her for not letting me come out on my own terms, and when I was ready, that was a shock. Then my sister came out and they didn't believe her, saying she just wanted attention. Then it spiraled from there. What had happened afterwards was my sister called and video chatted with her girlfriend just to prove her point. Most of my family said they are disappointed with her life choices but still love and support her anyways. Then the focus shifted onto me again. I got in trouble for knowing my sister was a lesbo the whole time and not outing her. I was like, WTF, you just yelled at my sister for this and now I am in trouble for not doing it? I got more heat for being gay than my sister did since I am the only male with our family last name, so I was expected to pass it on. It's like a super common Hispanic last name, so it doesn't really matter much to me. Most of my family was surprised because I am straight passing. I say this, but they only the stereotypes they see in the media. Surprisingly, my religious grandma was the one who defended me and just accepted me regardless. The rest of the family needs to come around to me and my sister. My oldest sister is the only straight one out of me and my siblings. My immediate family didn't get invited to Thanksgiving dinner with the rest of the family. My parents invited them over after dinner. Safe to say I wish I smoked, so I had an excuse to hide in the backyard later today. Business calls or a friend having an emergency are both non-addictive and are not habit forming. Brother-in-law is obviously on M, but we're not allowed to talk about it. Just pretend it's normal and ignore the weird behavior so that I don't start a fight. Jesus, get me out of here. No overt fighting, just my dad scolding my mom constantly and hissing invective at her. She just takes it, or responds to whatever he's angry about by panicking herself. He was even backseat driving the way she served the pies. There's a limit to how much damage control I can do, and our relatives, her side of the family, just kind of look the other way. Only thing that happened was a food fight. Someone threw a slice of chocolate cake, all in good fun though. My brother's ex won't let us see my nephew even though she said we could 2 days ago. We're only allowed to see him when it's convenient for her. On top of that, my brother can't even come up because his car won't make it. He said there's no use if I can't even see my own child. Grandpa flew in from his home in Minnesota, and him and my grandma are divorced. Mom invited both to dinner tonight. Sitting in the kitchen to my grandma slowly whispering hints to me of how much of a bad guy my grandpa is. Whoop-de-doo. My mom's parents peed her off. They drove 8 hours to do Thanksgiving early, with no notice, to do Thanksgiving early and overstayed their welcome. So she told them to the frick out, which set my dad off, and in turn he told my mom to get the frick out, which he did not, so he left. My aunt is back together with her cousin, ex-husband. He cheated on her with my uncle while they were in prison together and continued the affair when they got out. She brought him tonight and we don't like him. I need a diagram for this. I am confused. I was gonna go to my mom's house for Thanksgiving. and it's her birthday, but my mom has been on a binge drinking episode and got into it with my sister, so I told her I'm not going. Now I'm cooking a turkey with my boyfriend. There are about 13 different ways to plug in devices to charge them around here, but my husband can't understand why I am annoyed that he chose to unplug something dead that I just plugged in to charge his phone instead of charging his phone in one of the 12 other places. My so does this crap all the time. I'm house sitting, but I'm hoping my aunt punches crappy aunt in the face. Would be pretty funny if you ask me. My mother's sister and my father's sister have the same name. I refer to them as mean aunt and the other nice aunt. I accidentally called nice aunt to her face while the other aunt was in earshot. Things got awkward very quickly. From this thread it looks like aunts are the universal cause of family problems. Well, I was told last night that we're eating on the new deck in the backyard. I'm not happy about that because it's cold as frick. Here in San Diego a lot of us are scrambling because lots of people usually eat outside today, but this year it's thunderstorms and flooding. The heat isn't working at my house for some reason and my parents are really peed off. I'm currently freezing my butt off. My in-laws. My in-laws have a Christmas gift exchange every year and Thanksgiving is when we draw names out of a bag for our giftee. This year, my husband's grandmother decided that instead of leaving it to chance, that she would pick who gets who. She also did this without anyone's knowledge. This caused an outburst from my husband's cousin, her granddaughter, as well as some other disgruntled family members. Many arguments started breaking out and eventually personal jabs were being made. I think only 2 people cried but we got out of there soon after. My family. No arguing but my sister brought her crack, maybe IDK, addicted boyfriend to dinner. He was clearly high. My dad made him introduce himself to everyone individually, about 20 of us, and he had a hard time staying focused while trying to say his name. He eventually settled in and was sparking up conversation with my cousins. They obliged. Funny thing was that of all the people in the room, he had picked to talk to. He picked the drug counselor and the cop. Good times. We're about to play sorry because we can't find Monopoly. We'll update when everyone's dead. My mother was really sick in 2008. I was turning 25 with a younger brother and sister. Lost both of my grandparents on mom's side to cancer a few years prior. Mom had to watch as her parents slowly passed away. It destroyed her not having her mother around as they were very close. My mom was in and out of the hospital for 6 months from the summer to the fall of 2008. Couple instances where her blood was septic. She recovered but the doctors continued to run tests on her. One day I stopped by the hospital to check on her. The doctor was in the room when I walked in. He told her she had cancer, and chemo had a chance to save her but it would mean she would be dealing with it for the unforeseen future. My mom told me she wasn't going to do any treatment. She said that no matter what, she was going to be home for the holidays and that I couldn't tell anyone what the doctor said. I never told anyone. She left the hospital like it was any other day. Thanksgiving came and she gave a speech before the meal about how she loved everyone, and she began to cry. I knew why. Everyone else just thought it was that she felt blessed. Shortly after Christmas she passed. She got her last wish to spend the holidays with the family. After she passed the doctor told everyone cancer was the cause of death. I never said a word to anyone then and haven't to this day. I'm with my dad and stepmom, who doesn't like being called a stepmom so we'll just call her Alexis. Alexis's family doesn't quite get along with each other, so someone's gonna start a fight for simply existing. My family judging me for all of my life choices. I'm only 15. Well, get older then you fricking lazy butt. My deadbeat, loser, Droogy brother will show up soon. He frequently takes advantage of my parents. My parents take pity on him. I can never stop myself from getting right peed off and it usually results in a yelling match or fist fight. I sternly told my 5-year-old nephew do not hit my dog in the face, so after telling him all day not to get physical with the dog, my mom screamed at me not to talk to him that way, then took him into another room and repeated the exact same thing I said back to him. I am confusion. I couldn't go to Thanksgiving this year because I had to work, so I know I'm not the target audience for this question. But those of you hiding from your family, Here's something to make you feel better. I heard from no one today. The whole family is together and no one even thought to call or text me to say hi. Not even my mom. My cousin told my family he is not going to a Christian college. My family is extremely religious. Then my other cousin, he was a little older than the first guy, by 5 years, punched him. I'm not even kidding. Get back to you in an hour when the aggressively political uncle shows up. Edit. It's been a bit over 2 hours since he got here. Has since said MAGA 4 times and Bernie Sanders is a communist twice. Mine's already arguing why the Empire is the better choice for the stability and safety of Skyrim. My sister is yelling at me to clean up the kitchen while she is on her fat butt on the couch and complaining about the sofa crease her overweight butt is causing. She has already pushed me into a hot pan, spilled hot gravy on my foot, threw a roll at me, and kicked the dog. My mom learned her entire family was getting together for Thanksgiving without her. Even both of her divorced parents are going to be there, but she wasn't invited. My step-grandma crap herself at the table and someone made an offhanded comment about the food causing it. My step-aunt took it to heart and starts crying. Her husband starts yelling at people who didn't even do anything and the entire situation becomes very unpleasant and uncomfortable very fast, so now everybody is sitting awkwardly watching football with the muffled sobs of my step-aunt in the background. Isn't Thanksgiving fabulous? My family has always been chill at Thanksgiving. We always have Thanksgiving with my mom's side. Everyone has the same political beliefs. Grandma can be a little racist, but she's 96, so we give her a break when she uses words like colored. The biggest drama we've ever had was when the glass-lined gravy container exploded one year. We heard it go pop, but didn't know what it was until someone found chunks of glass in the potatoes. In defense of really old people, colored used to be the most polite term instead of how we view it today. Girlfriend's dad is a hardcore Fox News guy who can't go 2 seconds without mentioning something about politics or stupid freaking snowflakes. So we played a family game of apples to apples and the word honorable came up and someone played the card Martin Luther King Jr. and he threw all the cards off the table and started cussing and flipping his crap in front of kids. Yeah, I'm definitely ready to go home. You have been visited by the ingenious Joe. Comment brain so you always see the glass half full. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.